What is up, friend and fellow anti-netter? Hey, you may have listened to me recently, and I have been playing with the idea of creating a member label for my tribe of subscribers of the Scott Scheper letter. And that member label, for my tribe members is that of the Scheperians, right? And I already have a member label for my anti-netters, my people that are committed to growth and learning via the analog way and the analog Zettelkasten specifically. And that is the member label of the anti-netters, right? And so recently I've been playing with and introduced that of the Scheperians. And I'm having second thoughts on this and further deeper thoughts on this. And I'm now shifting in the direction of not going the Scheperian route. And here's why. And this is really important and an important distinction if you want to create your own tribe and your own following. I was reading Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets, just not the whole thing, but just I was looking for a specific section because I'm going to be talking about some of the components that he talks about in my upcoming issue of the Scott Scheper letter in issue number 5. And while I was perusing his book, I happened upon a really important line that I've kind of overlooked. And I remember hearing it in audiobook form since then, but it really didn't resonate with me. And it didn't stick until I saw it yesterday. And I believe it was yesterday that I saw it. And the principle and the line that I came across that Brunson wrote is that you should not create a label for your followers, for your super fans, that mirrors and is derived from your own name, your own character, who you are. And he used an example. There's this at one point she was a weight loss chick, and her name was Kaylin Toole, I believe. And her last name is spelled Toole. And her weight loss program was called like Tool Time, and it was doing okay. It was doing decent. She had like a small little faction of people that were Tool Time followers, right? Kind of like as a play on the old sitcom, right? Tool Time. And so with her brand, she kind of built it around her last name of Kaylin Toole. And he said that actually what they discovered and the big leap that they made in their business was that you want your superfans, your tribe members, your followers to identify with your higher level movement, a higher level idea, a higher level philosophy, a higher level message, essentially. And so what Kaylin Toole did was she switched her brand, her entire brand, and her followers, the name of her followers, from Tool Time, and calling, her followers probably Toolettes. I don't know what she called them, something like that. But she switched her entire brand to Lady Boss Weight Loss. And from there, it just took off because all of her female followers and fans started identifying. They started calling themselves, hey, I'm a lady boss. And this is the philosophy of a lady boss. Here's what we believe. And this is a very important but subtle distinction. And the reason that I was kind of shifting towards going the route of Scheperians for my Scott Scheper letter subscribers was that, each and every product that you create, and this is going to get complex, so if you don't understand this yet, don't worry about this, okay? You'll piece it together later on. But each product you create almost needs to have its own hero's journey, its own origin story. And part of that is in creating a higher level calling, higher level movement for each of your products. And so when I was looking at this, I was like, well, maybe each and every single product should also have its own kind of brand name and group name, member label name for each of its tribe members. Meaning, my Antinet Zettelkasten product, my people will call themselves Antinetters. My Scott Scheper letter, product, would basically, my members would call themselves Scheperians. And I think there is still some consideration in that. However, one of the downsides in that is that there's no massive higher level cohesion across all of your products wherein your members can just identify with one philosophy and one label. So what I'm shifting towards is that of sticking with my Antinetters as my label for those of us who believe in the power of analog knowledge. We see, digital, this over fetishization with digital and over obsession with digital, especially with AI now, becoming a huge market player and a huge niche in and of itself, a huge market in and of itself. Everyone is flocking towards the idea that, the future is digital courses, digital products, all of that. Well, none of that is true. In fact, the exact opposite is true. I hold and I believe that analog knowledge products are the future. I also, if you already know this, I hold that as far as PKM goes and developing better thoughts and growing your mind, that freaking all these tools, these digital tools, have it ass backwards, and that analog knowledge is the future, specifically what I call analog knowledge development. And this whole thing leads me back to wanting to embrace and double down on the Antinetter term, the Antinet philosophy, and even expand it, beyond just Antinet Zettelkasten. Antinet as a whole is a philosophy. It is that of believing in the value of analog knowledge. And we believe analog knowledge is the future. And it's kind of unconventional. It's crazy. It's an unconventional, higher level philosophy, and it's an unconventional, higher level message. And so I want to kind of circle back. What I'm getting at is when you create, I'm going to be teaching you in the upcoming issue of the Scott Scheper letter, the components for building your own tribe, which is going to set you apart from everyone else. And it's going to allow you to actually get your message, your impact, your own knowledge products, aka your own books, your own ideas, your own courses, whatever. It's going to allow you to get that out into the world and have a much bigger impact than you otherwise would. And the way to do that, like I said, is building a tribe. And I'm going to be talking and sharing with you how to do that. And the important distinction here is don't label the members of your tribe based on you, based on your last name. I like the Scheperian term. It's funny. It's fun, but I like it for the Scheperian school of thought, but it's not who my followers, my superfans identify with. I'm just basically the guide and there to communicate what I've discovered in my message, and I want you to identify with that message and be transformed by it, be transformed by the power of slowing down your mind via using analog knowledge tools, right? I don't want you to identify necessarily with me. I'm not some religious figure or something, right? And I see people and even very successful entrepreneurs that follow people like Russell Brunson. They seem to have overlooked this distinction. And for instance, there's this guy who is popping off and become very popular in the entrepreneur world. And initially he was very popular in the fitness world, helping gym owners become profitable and grow their business. And that man's name is Alex Hormozi. And what he called his members, his tribe, he called them, hey, what's up, Mosey Nation? He kind of identified it and created it based on his last name. And that's kind of a mistake, because like when I hear that, like, I don't give a shit about becoming part of Mosey Nation. Who's this guy, right? Like, I'm not some fanboy that's just going to, pledge some allegiance to some dude who is, this freaking muscly dude that's roided out and with a mustache, but also super intelligent. And I respect his content and stuff, but I'm not going to freaking, label myself as a part of Mosey Nation, as if he's a messiah. And I think he is a very avid student. Pardon, I'm parking right now. He's an avid student of Russell Brunson and very knowledgeable about the art and the school of creating a dedicated tribe. But he seemed to have overlooked this very important distinction. You do not want to create a tribe and have your members self-label themselves around your name and your identity. You want to self-label themselves, and you want your tribe, your people, to identify with your higher level calling that is truer in nature and that is way bigger than you and way beyond you. And so that, my friend, is why you will see me come full circle and double down on the anti-net movement and on the anti-netter term. Because together, we are going to create an analog knowledge revolution. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I love sharing all of my thoughts with you, and you can see all this stuff emerging and developing live in real time through the medium of this podcast, and really through me, sharing my thoughts with you on a drive. These thoughts are my authentic thoughts that would just be going through my mind, that you would see them in one way, shape, or form in the end product, the output I create. But now I'm able to share these thoughts that would just be in my mind and then go away. I'm able to capture it and share it with you, the behind the scenes, in this podcast form. And I love doing it, and I hope you do as well. So if you've gotten this far, here is something I'd like you to do. If you like this, if you like my distinction, if you think it's wise that I made the switch from anti-netter or from Shaparian to anti-netter, and really I wasn't going to do Shaparian full time. I was just going to use it as well. But if you like that idea of me dropping the Shaparian term, of calling people Shaparians, then what I'd like you to do, if you are a subscriber of the Scott Scheper letter, I want you to use that special dedicated email address I've given you for, and only given subscribers of the Scott Scheper letter, for getting in contact with me, and use that special email address to share your thoughts with me. And, maybe we can get in a conversation about it. Anyway, peace and love, and always remember to stay crispy, my friend.